These are the Star Wars The Force Awakens Armor Up First Order Stormtrooper, Kylo Ren, Finn, and Poe Dameron. These figures are part of Wave 1 of the new Star Wars The Force Awakens 3.75-inch figures with the Armor Up gimmick. And here they are. Let's see if I can give you a look at their packaging. Here's the Stormtroopers packaging. The other figures in the wave: Chewbacca, Boba Fett, Flamethrower, Stormtrooper. I didn't bother picking them up yet. Didn't see the need. So here's Kylo Ren's box. Their packaging is very boxy, cardboard type of packaging. It's the first time I've seen 3.75-inch figures in this kind of packaging. And here's Finn and Poe Dameron. You got Luke Skywalker as well in the assortment. And quite honestly, the figures are highly detailed figures. I'm going to review all of them at once in one video because it doesn't make sense to do each one of them separately because they're very simple, basic figures. Highly detailed. They have these very detailed, very substantial type of backpack, armor type of gimmick. They got really neat accessories. Again, very detailed, good paint apps, very well sculpted figures, but very limited articulation. Each one has just 5 points of articulation. Each one just has a ball jointed neck, swivel shoulders, and swivel hips. That's all the articulation you get from these figures. And you get this very, very boxy type of packaging, which is something you'd get from a bigger toy, not 3.75-inch. And I get to wonder, are these figures really worth it? Let me just give you a point of comparison. This is a deluxe class Bumblebee figure from Transformers, well, Beast Hunters line, or Transformers Prime. I paid about 800 pesos for this figure. 800 pesos is about 17 US dollars. And I paid the same amount of money just to get one of these guys. So one of these Armor Up figures costs about $17 here in Manila. Manila is always about 25-30% more expensive than in the US. So we get stuff early, but the prices of our toys are very, very expensive compared to the US. So it's very, very pricey. So $17 for a deluxe class figure, $17 for an Armor Up figure. And I get to wonder, are these figures worth it? I picked them up because they looked really nice in packaging. I think the packaging did a wonderful job in selling the figures. But I think Hasbro, at the end of the day, made a bad decision with the packaging and with these figures. Let me show you the figures one at a time. Here is the First Order Stormtrooper. Fantastic blaster accessory. He's got great paint apps. He's got a great sculpt. But again, very, very limited articulation. He's got this backpack or Armor Up gimmick. I don't know what it is. You just snap it on and he's sort of in jungle mode or space mode. I don't know. It just has missiles on it, like War Machine mode or something like that. I don't know. So that's the Stormtrooper figure. Let me go with Finn. Finn has this like Hoth outfit that you can snap onto him like that, and you can get to see his eyes. His eyes go through the goggles. He's got this really nice, well detailed, very nicely painted blaster. I love it. But again, 5 points of articulation. He's got paint apps, fantastic paint apps everywhere, detailing on him. If you're looking through several Finn on the pegs, some of the Finn figures have too much brown painted on him. It makes him puffy. This one is just about right amount of paint on his face. He even has a backpack hole. So very, very nicely detailed. I mean, look at this soft PVC material. It's not molded in. Fantastic detail on the figures, but very, very limited articulation again. Then we have Poe Dameron. This again, just great detail all around. I mean, the soft goods jacket. He's got a nice blaster, nice head sculpt, nice paint apps everywhere. And then you have this snap-on sort of jetpack helmet type of armor. Very nice. Makes him looks like a Centurion, like Ace McCloud. Remember that? Very nice. And then you have Kylo Ren. This is the figure is basically the same as the single carded one, but this one does not have a hood. It's an unhooded Kylo Ren. You get his whole helmet is exposed. He's got a really nice lightsaber. Got fantastic detail all over. See, they even painted the boots inside his like waist cape. They even molded it and painted it nicely. I mean, there's nothing I can say. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing to complain about the paint apps and the detail and the accessories. It's just the articulation that's really, really lacking in this figure. Now, his armor gimmick doesn't quite work this way. You'll have to pop off the head, take off the cape, and then put on the armor, and it sort of works like that. So that's basically it. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for a very simple figure that's highly articulated and has an armor gimmick, and you're paying the same price as this guy. And I'm thinking, man, are these things really worth it? And I guess a lot of the collectors had picked them up, snatched them up, thinking that Hasbro will probably not do any more articulated figures. They'll probably be Walmart exclusives. We'll never get that in Manila. Only hobby shops are going to get that here because the local importer does not get exclusives, especially from Walmart. Well, we got the Target PB8, but you know, we normally don't get exclusives. And I just wish they had given us more articulation. Now, the argument that Hasbro is always presenting, that's the review for the toys. If you want to stay on and listen to me rant, by all means, finish the video. But that's it. That's the review. I'm not going to talk about the figures anymore. I'm going to talk about something else. This is more of a rant about the figures and what Hasbro could have done. Now, Hasbro's argument is it's very expensive to make fully articulated 3.75-inch figures. And I'm like, dude, there are ways you can cut costs. Like, screw this armor gimmick. Nobody needs it. I mean, the kids, just give them more accessories. That's the reason we bought G.I. Joes. That's the reason we bought these Clone Wars figures, because they had a ton of accessories. The packaging was a little bit complicated, but it was just card backs that have plastic bubbles on them. Look at the articulation on this figure. The accessory, it's the same height. It's the same basic 3.75-inch figure. Given that back in the day, you know, it was easier, it was cheaper to produce this guy than now. Okay. But you know what, Hasbro? You can cut costs. Okay? First off, get rid of the armor gimmick. That's one cost down. Second, the packaging. Really? Really? You're telling us it's so expensive to manufacture a figure, and you're giving us very, very expensive packaging. Tell me this is... I don't think this is cheap. Okay? You know what's cheap, Hasbro? This is cheap packaging. This is efficient. It gets the point across. You can have the figure slighted here, just like in the 80s. I'm not saying go back to the 80s or 70s. You can keep the figure here. You can have images here and here. You can have an image here. You can even have that. You can have the logo, Star Wars: The Force Awakens. You can have this. It's efficient. It's easy to carry. It's easy to display. It's cheap. The money you can save, you can give it additional articulation. Look at this figure. It's got a base, it's got a gun, it's got full articulation, it's got nice card backs and bubbles, and it's sold at the dollar store, Dollar General, Dollar Tree. It's a Dollar Tree exclusive, or a thrift store exclusive. If you can do this was just released like a couple of years ago, why can't you do it here? I mean, Star Wars figures are generally very expensive here in Manila. I mean, outside the US, Hasbro toy, like in Manila, our toys are like 30% more expensive than in the US. I mean, that's the kind of packaging we need. I hope Hasbro folks are watching this video. This is efficient. It will sell. I mean, granted that this did its work in selling the toys because the artwork is great, but when kids or adults open them up, they think, man, where has all the articulation gone? I mean, how do you play with this? Just, hello, Stormtrooper. Thin, yes. That... Poe's ability is important, despite what some of the execs in Hasbro might think. And there are ways of making figures, producing figures that have articulation and recovering costs and saving from here and there, and I just don't get it. I don't get it why Hasbro didn't do it. Nevertheless, they still sold because people probably realized this is it. This is as good as it gets. And I need a Kylo Ren. I need Finn. That's what I thought. Anyway, I apologize for turning this video into a rant. It's just a little bit disappointing and frustrating nowadays because toys have gotten very expensive and you do have some expectations. And when you look at things, there are ways that they could have made it better, and for some reason they didn't. There you go, folks. The Star Wars The Force Awakens, Armor Up, Stormtrooper, Kylo Ren, Finn, and Poe Dameron. Thanks for watching.